I'm here to welcome all of you, and I'm going to present the Heroic Imagination Project in a slideshow, what it is, what we do, and how hopefully you can be involved. But before I do, I really want to greet the students, because even though I'm now a big shot, I was born a little shot in the Bronx, New York. I grew up in poverty. I was born in 1933 in the Great Depression. My parents were Sicilian immigrants, uneducated. My grandfather was a shoemaker. My other grandfather was a barber. And I'm here for one reason. I was able to get education because it was clear to me as a child that was the only way out of poverty, to go to school, to work hard, to do good, and keep going until finally I got a PhD, and finally I ended up teaching for 40 years at Stanford University. So again, the message to students is stay in school, work hard, do good, and make your parents proud of you. So with that, I want to start saying, what is the Heroic Imagination Project? I'm going to describe it. It's a wonderful cartoon. Again, a student made for me in Hungary. After I gave a lecture, students said he took elements of my presentation and put it into this wonderful cartoon.
Hello, I'm Phil Zimbardo, president and founder of the Heroic Imagination Project. Our main focus is promoting the idea that heroes are ordinary people who take extraordinary action in challenging situations in their lives. Effective heroes do the right thing when other people are doing the wrong thing, or more often when they're doing nothing, and also to expose evil in all of its many forms as a whistleblower. We believe heroism begins in the mind, begins with thinking about yourself as a hero, thinking about yourself as having an inner hero that we will help express through our lessons, our ways of rethinking the nature of good and evil. Transforming bystander apathy into heroic action. Bystander apathy is what characterizes what's known as the bystander effect. In emergency situations, the more people present, paradoxically, the less likely anyone's to help. That's called the bystander effect. It was generated many years ago by the brutal murder in New York City of the woman Kitty Genovese, where many people heard her screams and did nothing. As soon as one person helps, then in seconds, that help is expanded. Our message is be the one. Be that person who ignores the social norm of doing nothing and creates a new social norm of doing something.
So the Heroic Imagination Project started in San Francisco about 10 years ago. We're a nonprofit foundation. And our message is we use social psychological training of the kind you saw in the bystander, to not only inspire young people, but to actually train them in how to be wise and effective heroes. So essentially, we teach people how to stand up, how to speak out, how to take action. And the other things we do is we try to promote away from the notion of, the traditional notion is the solitary hero, the military hero. For military heroes, and actually the place we're in, Marine Memorial, is a memorial to Marine heroes. So in this very place embodies part of our message. But the kinds of hero we're talking about, we call everyday heroes. Young people who do deeds of goodness every day to make the world better. And so essentially, we teach young people how to work together in what we call hero squads. Unfortunately, I can't see that as far away. But essentially, we use our lessons as again, all based on social psychology that we provide to high schools, and now we're expanding to businesses and adult education. So essentially, the issue is heroes are sociocentric. That is, their vision is always on the other. For most of us, we are egocentric. You come to a meeting like this and you say, gee, I hope people think I'm smart, I hope people think I'm pretty, I hope people think I'm interesting. But that's you. Instead, the ideal here is, what can I do to make somebody here, or in any situation you go, feel special? Ask their name, remember their name, engage them in conversation, give them a compliment, a justifiable compliment. And essentially, it's change your conception from me to we. That's the start of what we call a hero vision. So we offer these interactive lessons like the one you just saw. We have a number of different lessons that are interesting, provocative, and they're all based around videos. So young people live in a visual world. And in our lessons, we teach the teachers and also sometimes trainers in business how to present our lessons. And I actually go around the world, and there are many people here today who just came from different countries of the world that we'll introduce later on. So our lessons are, the one you just saw, combating bystander effect. That is, in most situations, people do nothing when they could do a simple thing. And so we analyze, all of us have good intentions, but our good intentions don't always lead to good actions because there are obstacles, there are barriers. We don't know what to do, we're not sure what to do, it could be dangerous. And our lessons teach you what are all the obstacles and how do you transform an obstacle into a challenge and then into a solution. One of our lessons is important for everybody. It's called transforming a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. My colleague at Stanford, Carol Dweck, has written an important book called The Psychology of Mindsets. And what she says is all of us limit ourselves by having a fixed mindset. We say, I'm good at this, I'm not good at that. Women are not good at math. Asians are good at this, but not at that. So we have this, and so it's the basis of prejudice. And what she says is every single skill, every ability is improvable, even perfectible with two things, practice and effort. The difference between kids who are virtuosos, at 10 years old on the violin, and those who are on the stage is 10,000 hours of practice. And so essentially it's, and when you fail, you learn from failure. You never quit after failure. You say, what did I do wrong? You look at people who succeeded. What did they do that I can learn from? And then the third lesson we have developed is how do you transform stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination into understanding and acceptance of others? So our lessons are really very broad. Some of them, mindset is how do you improve yourself? The bystander is how do you take action to help others? And here's how do you change your mindset and people in your family and your community away from prejudice and towards social acceptance of others. So in the past 4 years, our program has been going around the world, and we work with buddies of mine in a program called Bright City, City with an S. And they took our lessons, the content, and they put them in an interesting online format where people learn how to communicate with one other person. So it's dyads learning effective, compassionate communication. But what they're talking about is our lessons. And their programs are going around the world, and they show how stereotypes can lead us to a lack of empathy, changing attitudes can force acceptance of diversity, openness to other people, promoting inclusion. And what they show is in businesses, when you learn these messages, for example, such as bullying doesn't stop when the bullies graduate from high school. They go into business, and then they have real power as managers, foremen. And there's a recent article that says bullying in corporations costs the company 10% of the profit because the people who are bullied are less effective on their job. They often call in sick, and they often quit. So you have to retrain somebody to replace them. So again, you want the companies to take the lead in these matters. So we have shown that people who have gone through this program, there's a measure of courage. They have a greater sense of courage. But now we're talking about moral courage, not bravery in battle. But also, the other thing is, there's a decrease in what's called social dominance orientation. This is really right-wing thinking, like meaning you admire people who are strong and dominant, and you despise people who are weaker. But reduction in stress, reduction in anxiety, reduction in depression. So, and this work was, I guess, mostly with college students. Now, what's exciting is our program is spreading around the world. And hopefully after today, with people from different countries, it'll go even further. So typically, even though I have difficulty traveling, I go. I go to Budapest, London, Porto, Krakow, Sicily, Bali, Tehran, Geelong, Australia, Prague, Buenos Aires, Bratislava. And we're about to go to Faroe Islands. We're talking to people here today from India and many other places. So what's really exciting is this little idea that I had 10 years ago, that, what can we do to promote heroism in high school kids, is now expanding. The two things is in Budapest, which is our most active program, it's in thousands of high schools. They do training in our lessons every single week. They have 80 volunteers, older people who are retired, become volunteers, and we teach them how to do our training. My family is Sicilian, as I mentioned, and every year I go to Sicily, and what's really exciting there is everywhere in the world, there's anti-migrant programs, except in Sicily, which is really a poor country. They actually welcome African students, ages 17 to 21, from many African nations. And when they come to Sicily, they have built a shelter for them, housing. They give them clothes and teach them Italian language and send them to high school. But then what our program does is we teach them our growth mindset, our bystander effect, and now they go into Italian high schools as teachers. So you have an 18-year-old kid who's a migrant. In every other country there's some migrant camp. So they dress well, they know Italian now, and now they get respect from Italian students. And again, all Italian kids are white and Catholic, and here are kids who are black, some are Muslim, but it doesn't matter. They are standing up there, they're the teacher. And now we give them like 200 euros each time they do a lesson, and 100 they send home to their family. So again, the family is now appreciative of the fact that they left and they're doing this. So I'm saying here's a case in which just stepping back and thinking, how can we make this situation from bearable to ideal? And we're doing that. So with that, I'll turn the program over to our next speaker. And if you want more information, just admin@heroicimagination.org. And I'll be here later with other things. Thank you so much.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.